Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our live streamers. I am Barbara. So happy to have you here. Happy to have everybody who's here live with us. Can we all say hello to our live streamers?
Yay!
As I always say, we all know there's no such thing as time or space, that we are all in this sacred and safe container together. So welcome, everyone. We have a lot of new people with us today for the very first time. So we're really, truly grateful and blessed to have you here. As I always say, we offer these enlightenment expos for you to find a safe and sacred space to be on your consciousness journey, wherever that might be, wherever on the spectrum you are. And we hope you find your tribe with us. You are instantly family the second you register with us and walk in, and we hope that you attend many of our events and tune into soulsearch.tv or Soul Search. You can download our channel on all of the major platforms: Apple TV, Android, Roku, Amazon Fire, and find content made specifically for you, for our family, by our amazing practitioners and others as well. And a big part of what we love to bring to you are our amazing speakers, and there are certain speakers that ring true to my heart, and this is definitely one of them. I'm so excited for you all to have this experience with Reverend Annie Bachelder. Do I pronounce that right?
Bachelder.
Bachelder.
Like a batch of elders.
Like a batch of elders.
He's a batch.
I know. I love that. I love that. I always think of bachelor, and then I think of elders.
Right.
And, you know, very competing things, but I digress. Reverend Annie has over 34 years of experience as a gifted channel, a psychic, a medium, and a spiritual teacher. Her website is anniechannels.com, and she owns soulsorcerer.etsy.com, which I have soulsorcerer.etsy.com, which I really want to check out because it sounds like a very fun place to be. Annie's natural psychic abilities have been further enriched through teachings: awakening your light body, opening to channel, how to read the Akashic Records, and healing self-doubt. Despite overcoming personal challenges, including multiple sclerosis, tubal pregnancies, and adoption experiences, Annie channeled the transformational book, bringing forth soul consciousness, offering Akashic Records-based guided exercises and energy skills to help us all live a soul-fulfilled life. Her daily practice of embodying her soul's light guides her in serving students and clients, providing greater calm, confidence, and clarity through the Akashic Records. And she empowers others to explore their own records with depth and ease. And we're going to do that, or I'm not going to be able to do it, but you all are going to be able to do that with Reverend Annie today. You are very lucky. So without further ado, let's welcome Reverend Annie.
Should be the puppet for you because you guys made it. I'm so appreciative that you taken this time. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about soul consciousness, and then we'll get to the Akashic Records. I'll do the offer first, get out of that way because I forget that part, and it's just short and sweet. This is my channel book, 40 chapters, great information. It teaches you how to open your Akashic Records. $24 for that book, and this is the companion journal that goes with the book. And that's because every book has, every chapter has interactive questions at the end. And it teaches you how to open your records, and you read this new information on a whole bunch of topics like your spiritual heart, living as your soul, alternatives to worry, etc., etc. And then you write your responses to these interactive questions with your records open. And we do that on purpose because opening your records changes your consciousness. It really, really does. It puts you in a different space. And so having the questions already written out in the companion journal makes it a lot easier than those lines that you can write in your responses. And the reason they had me do the book that way is because as you have new experiences and you write down your experiences, you're literally telling your human brain these things actually happen. I had these experiences. You're really validating for yourself what this new thing is. So, who here thinks knowing and learning about soul and soul consciousness and what the heck is this thing called the soul is important? Great. You're in the right room. Now, I got to ask you, and I want this to be kind of an interactive thing. It's not formal. I'm just another human being on the path with you guys, and you're my compatriots. We're walking shoulder to shoulder together here, figuring it out. Why is being like intimate or on speaking terms with your own soul, why is that important? Pardon me? Know thyself. What a great answer. That's great. I don't have an agenda. There are no right answers. I'm not looking for, I'm waiting for that person to say these words. No, I want to know what it is to you. Hi. All right. So he says, know thyself. Who else thinks? Why? Yes.
I think it's important because we all have a north node and a south node. Our north node is our past souls, our south node is our current. And a little of our past comes into our current, and when you go into your Akashic Records, it will kind of bring out clarity to you.
Yes.
And you'll also, like you said, when your Akashic Records are open and you're meditating, you'll hear a different voice. Like, you don't talk that way. Like, what did I do to talk that way? Or you start writing the way you don't write. It's very empowering.
Yes. Exactly. She could do my job.
No, I can't.
You're just afraid to be in this spot. It's the same as sitting over there. Very good. Well, thanks for coming and hearing about this. So, how about some other people? I'm going to ask some more questions, and just spit it out. We're having a conversation amongst equals, so there's no top dog here. So, raise your hand if you've gotten messages from your soul. Yeah, great. How did you know it was your soul?
It wasn't my voice. Yeah, it wasn't even my thought process. It came from.
Yeah, wasn't my voice.
No,
Wasn't
like
your thought
older,
process. Like,
older kind of terms that I don't use.
yeah.
Those I have to look up.
I did a lot of that when I was channeling this
Yeah.
book. I was like, they're using these electronics terms, and I want to make sure I've got the distinction between transducer, transmitter, transceiver. And I am not electronics. I'm a hippie for Marin, Like, the opposite. You were going to say something about how you knew it was your soul.
Kind of receive instead of turn the brain chatter off. You learn how to discern between receiving a thought and thinking a thought. So
I'm getting chills. You guys are great. Really. This is wonderful. Isn't this nice? I like having a conversation with my compatriots. Okay. How did so you kind of had a feeling, and then your thoughts changed, and the types of words that you heard were different. It's like, that's not me talking. That's not Annie, who plays at like 4th grade level on a lot of levels. But when I'm channeling, it's like, holy moly, we're in a whole different arena and different vocabulary. So, are there other ways that your soul communicates with you? Like
I think it communicates in different ways for different people, but a lot of ways that I've heard from the people are through their dreams.
A lot of people ask about that, or the dreams are also in the Akashic Records, and I actually don't have a clear answer on that. But I think I know from experience that my dreams have helped steer me. You're going to be remembering this, or this is foreshadowing something. The ones that stick in the memory, they're the ones that just sort of disappear like 5 minutes after. So, okay, let me see if I asked all these really juicy questions. Raise your hand if you would like to be able to experience messages from your soul at will. Right room all together. Good. Now, this obviously leads right into the Akashic Records. So, I was a channel. I started channeling in 1988. I had to learn to channel in order to be in a class called Awakening Your Light Body. And it was taught by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. And they wrote the original book, Opening to Channel, and in like 1980 or something like this. So I'm telling you how old I am. And so I wanted to be in this class. Like I was like, I don't care. I have to rack my credit cards. I'm going into this class. You can't stop me. So, but then I'm reading further down. Oh, prerequisite. You have to be able to channel. I'm like, okay, I'll learn how to channel. And so I got their book and I started sitting down with a cassette tapes era, you can tell. Yeah. Running and thinking, well, I'm going to have it on because when I had readings from Sanaya before, she always sent a tape of the reading and miles of blankness, but I felt the guide come in. I felt the difference inside my body. I had different physical sensations. It was very peaceful. It was very loving. It was very tentative. So like just tender. This is okay. I'm going to just visit these parts of you. All right, look at you. This is good. Mm-hmm. And then I started trying to ask a few questions just to get some information. And so first one was, I need a name. And they gave me a 12-syllable name, which sounded like Hindi. And I said, I can't remember 12 syllables. So can you give me something simpler? And so the next time I sat down and they said 3 syllables. And do this. And then when I went to the class, we had to channel for each other. And this was the first time I ever channeled for somebody else. Like, I am such a rank beginner. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to go for it. And afterwards she says, you're really good. And I'm like, really? Like, I have nothing to compare to. And she says, do you know who Anubis is? And I'm like, no, should I? And then she sent me some information. I was like, oh my God, this is the God, the Egyptian God who participates in the embalming of people in ancient Egypt. And Anubis would weigh the heart against a feather. And if the feather was heavier than the heart, then you had to go, no, if the heart was heavier than the feather, get this right, you had to go do the life again. If it was lighter than feather, Anubis would take you to the afterlife. So, and I'm like, what am I doing with this, high rent being? I'm such a beginner. Shouldn't I be starting out with something more minor? And I asked Anubis, well, what's our purpose together? What's the higher purposes of us working together? And Anubis said, our higher purpose is reuniting humans with their soul. And as they explained to me when I was channeling this book, the soul happens to function as the link to the divine. So when we embody our soul's light and consciousness, when we are in conversation and in contact with our soul, then we are automatically linked to the divine. So it's kind of handy. And it totally wipes out that sense of separation, me and the divine. Way out there, no connection. But when I'm in my soul's light and really embodying that light which has the soul consciousness in it, then I feel like, of course, there's the divine right there with me. And it's all of us together. And it's more of that unity, that oneness, that sense of belonging. Thank God. Anyway, so I channeled for about 25 years. And then when Christmas 2013, I was buying books for my sweetheart. And I did the rush job. Like you go in the spiritual section and you go, okay, you heat up or give me a message that this is a book I should take with me. And no. Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, yeah, not you. So I bring them home, write on the inside cover, and wrap them up. And then after Christmas, my sweetheart's reading one of them. He says, Annie, I think you'd really like this book. It's really up your alley. And I'm like,
Okay.
And it was How to Read the Akashic Records by Dr. Lynn Howe. And, so she's my teacher. And I studied everything that she teaches, and I became a teacher and a practitioner and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I did sort of a characteristic thing about me is I really eat everything that these people produce and master it, and then I get frustrated because I got to do my work. And I stopped being a little mini me of them and start being a full me of me. And so now I have my own Akashic Records prayer, opening prayer and closing prayer. And that's one of the things I like about working in the records and doing readings in the records, whether for me or for you, is that we open with a prayer and close with a prayer, and it sets this really sanctified, rare space, a beautiful, safe place to explore, like, this is new. You know how we feel that new. I'm going to be, I'm suspicious. I'm going to let my mind is going to be, is this right? But, that's a very safe place for you to explore what your issues are, or what your interests are, all that kind of stuff. So the Akashic Records exist at a soul level plane of consciousness, and they are a very fine energetic substance that just everything that happens or is said or done by any soul anywhere at any time is recorded in this sensitive substance. And since it's soul level, hey, I'm in. Because, like Anuba said, our purpose is to reunite humans with their soul, and from there with the divine. And so it was just like a match made in heaven for me to be in the Akashic Records. So the records record everything you as individuals or we as groups have ever said, thought, or done. And in the Akashic Records, the strongest energy that's transmitted is the spoken word. The second strongest is the written word. And the third strongest is thought. And that's, I think, why so many people say you just have to change your thoughts. Like, yeah, right. Seems so easy, except for when they've got me by the, I'm being led around the room with my thinking, right? And my limited viewpoint as a human. That's what I like about being in the Akashic Records, is that it's like that objective view from out here, or I can zoom into like the inside of a cell and start to feel and understand what this cell is up to, what it needs, what it doesn't need, all that kind of stuff. So let's see, going the outline a little bit. So the Akashic Records are obviously the perfect platform for developing an intimate relationship with your soul. Now, the introduction in page 1 of my book is channeled by the Akashic beings of light, and they are my guides in the Akashic Records, and you get to use them when you study the records through this book. And what they say is, utilizing your soul's Akashic Records is in our interactions with you, we augment solutions sourced in your soul. This book and the energy in it teaches you how to transform problems into soul level empowerment. So once again, it's about the soul. And in my world, the soul is much clearer and wiser than I am. And it's set up all the obstacles and all those challenges and all those things that seem like really torturous things to go through in a human life. And it's like, are you sure you're my friend? Do friends do this to each other? Well, I'm looking back, and especially through the lens of the Akashic Records and the wisdom that comes through the Akashic Records, I was able to really identify, well, why the heck did I get diagnosed with MS? multiple sclerosis, a neurological disease that basically has no cure, in 1990, and then become really disabled with it, like had to live with my mother because I couldn't fold my own laundry or cook for myself, for 10 years. And then 10 years later, become healed. Okay, so what was that? So, oh, well, Annie's a little bit arrogant about her physical body, and you can just change it, and you're not thinking the right thoughts, and no compassion, like, let me carry that for you, none of that, right? And so I needed to be knocked down a little bit and gain some humility, and that made me available to people who are struggling with illnesses. And owning a physical body is a complicated prospect, don't you think? Like, what? It changes size, changes shape, it does things, it needs things. Like, I have to eat 3 times a day. What's with that? Like, maintenance, water, eat, sleep. I mean, really, I just want to get in the car and drive, right? But apparently I can't do that with this body. I have to do things to take care of it. And when I do that, it really works, right? It really works good. And I actually enjoy it. So it made me more compassionate. But it was a hard lesson to learn. It took good 20, 25 years. Anyway, page 3 says, the origin of our message is the Akashic Records. Their records are primarily an energetic structure laden with love and wisdom. The records contain tremendously useful and valuable information and are saturated with unconditional love. The Akashic Records are an energetic transmission, causing energy and perceptual shifts, filling in gaps in your knowledge and experience base. We and the Akashic Records always meet you where you are. Now, that quote really emphasizes quite a few points about the Akashic Records and their nature, and like, why bother learning how to read the Akashic Records? The records are spiritual, not psychic. So you don't have to have a bunch of psychic skills, or you can, but you can add this to your toolkit to actually open your own records and learn things and find out things. You don't have to be psychic superstar to work effectively in your records. You don't have to be perfect. Don't we all want to be perfect before we start something new so we can be the best student in the class? Right. There's no tests. You don't, the Akashic Records transmit messages on a frequency of compassion. The Akashic Records help through energetic and perceptual shifts. And so this is one of the kind of grounding principles of the Akashic Records. In the records, the order of importance is energy first, information second. And that's because energy can slip in kind of underneath, undetected, and shift things in the perspective. And then the mind catches up and goes, Jim, having a different perspective. This is an old thought, and now I see how it's been trapping me, So you can just like go, oh, great. I'm not interested in that thought anymore. I'd like to upgrade. Okay, what thought does support me at this stage of the game? And have you noticed you have to keep upgrading? I find little things that work really well and I wear them out, and then I have to go, okay, what's next? Got to up my game, got to learn something new, add something different in there. Okay. The most important, okay, put the glasses on, it's a lot easier. Most important for practical and applicable reasons, the Akashic Records are about you as a soul. The perspective of the records is that difficult situations are often learning devices set up by the soul so that you and your soul can evolve in a particular way. Okay, so my soul said, thou shalt have multiple sclerosis entering your lifetime in order to gain humility. Okay, that was a good lesson. And it stuck, and it made me more compassionate, and it made me be able to hold other people in my heart, in the same plane. Like, I'm not any better or worse than you. There's an interesting perspective in the Akashic Records that says the soul has everything it needs and nothing it doesn't need. So everything that happens to me or you along the path is exactly, precisely calibrated to you as a human being and as a soul. And as the soul evolves, it's perfect, but it's evolving. And the fact that it's evolving all the time does not dent its perfection. And I evolve, the human evolves, you, the human evolves. So every time I evolve, the soul evolves. And the soul evolves, I evolve. So it's really kind of a two-way street. And that makes it even more important. I want to be on the same team with my soul, right? Because this being chose you or your personality, your body, precisely because you are exactly what it needs to continue evolving. So you were chosen with love and care, and it's only you. 8 billion choices, and that settled on you. Okay, that's significant, don't you think? I mean, that made a dent in my thinking. And it made me understand that my soul does care. Okay, Akasha is a Sanskrit word meaning limitless sky. And almost much as someone might be inferring the divine, like, I know that the divine is in here now, not up there. However, a lot of people go, the divine, like that. Another translation of the word Akasha is primary substance from which all things are formed. So this is raw energy that our feelings haven't touched, or our thoughts haven't touched, or our wishes and wants haven't touched, which tend to make it concretized into be able to materialize in our material world. So I like that. And I even have done meditations where I literally go out into the big starry consciousness plane, and I feed myself raw energy that's not formatted, just to boost my energy, just to give me something clean to work with. Okay. I told you this, I think. In the records, the order of importance is energy first, information second. And in my experience, being conscious of the energy I am sensing is a powerful moving force that reveals the Akashic or soul perspective. So when I'm doing a reading for myself or someone else, if I have a body sensation, or all of a sudden my thinking changes, I'm not sounding like Annie's little rat-a-tat-tat inner dialogue. I'm sounding like something spiritual is coming in, right? And things change, and I'm receiving that energy in my body, and it might make me sit up different, or might change my breathing, or it might change my perspective on something. That is where the rubber meets the road in my world. The words are kind of the top dressing, the icing on the cake, and my mind likes the words. My human mind wants to understand, but the experience of the energy is even more powerful and more moving. And I think shifts the energy fastest. The records also reveal what has happened in general, what is happening, and has the possibility of happening in the future. Now, for me, the records seem like almost like a woven fat substance that's really floaty and flexing. But if I take a different route home, there's a slight shift in the records. And that's going to change who I am and what some of my potential possibilities are next week or next month or next year. And if I keep making these small changes in my habitual racket, that I just like go automatically, I don't think about it, I just have the tea and I don't blah, blah, blah. I do my habitual thing. If I start changing those little things, then I change what's going to happen in the rest of my world. And my guides say, listen, folks, we humans are kind of easy to upset, right? If I take my whole life and turn it upside down, I'm not only scared the crap out of myself, but I've scared the crap out of you and my mother and my sweetheart and my brother and my sister and my best friend. And they're like, what is she doing now? And that's not really the nicest way to do things. It's better if I do make these little changes and let those changes sort of evolve. And the flower petals open up. Or the next footfalls change, the next way I conduct my life changes. Or something new drops in and it's like, yeah, this is exciting. This is good. This is useful. And I like the records because the information is practical. It's, it is like, take a different route home. This is not high tech. This is not good. You don't have to be a savant to understand, take a different route home, right? It's applicable. Okay, I could apply that. I could do that. And it's practical. It's within my reach. No problem. Okay. And so sometimes I would write notes and I'm writing what I'm getting in my records and it's like, well, this is sort of like no biggie, And 3 weeks later, I go back and read it and go, boy, did I need to hear that. And it's like the biggest wisdom going. I'm like, oh, that was really open things up. So it comes in on that soft little kind of, we're going to sneak in like the light. The light gets in unperceived. It gets in anywhere it wants to go. And so it can come in subtle and it doesn't shake up my personality. It doesn't turn my mother inside out, with worry or something like that. Anyway, so there's a lot to say about the Akashic Records in this very short period of time. The records contain the entire spectrum of healing energy transmitted on frequencies of unconditional love throughout time. And they're always respectful. He can tell you're not in the Akashic Records? It sounds like this. You should have known better. What? Who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? This is stupid. It sounds like my mind, right? And it's some of its worst moments. When you're in the records, it sounds like, well, of course you felt that way. That's what you had to work with at the time. Of course you feel that way now. You're anticipating something new in the future and you're a little timid, a little fearful. It's all right. Of course you feel that way. The records always seem validating. They always seem to uplift. They always meet me where I am. If I'm in tragedy and I'm really, really upset, it's a little hard to hear, mind information. But since the records meet me where I am, I can get in there and go, yeah, Annie, we know. Because you were raised with this formatting and not conditioning about money and love and time and all that. It makes sense that you're experiencing this moment in time the way you are. Now, move into that soul energy, and all of a sudden I'm not stuck in the formatting I got from my ancestral line and my parents and shortage of money and you've got to be thrifty and don't waste. Wasting is a very high crime and misdemeanor in my world, in my family world. And as children of the Depression. So The Akashic Records exist in an environment based on 3 principles. Judge not, fear not, and resist not. And that creates an environment that is so peaceful and so calming and so safe. So it's a wonderful place to go to live more. So we must be getting to the time where I'm supposed to be taking questions. How's everybody doing now? Yeah? So you're gonna buy my book? It comes in print, and it's also an audio book. I spent a mint in a real recording studio, putting it into an audiobook form, and it's on a whole bunch of different platforms. Unfortunately, not Audible. Audible and I seem to have an argument. And so, but it's on Apple Books and Storytel and Rakuten Kobo and Libro FM. It's in libraries. It's in libraries, you guys. I really wanted it to be able to go out and not have money be an obstacle. So you can get it there. Nuke, Overdrive, Chirp, TuneIn.com, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want the companion journal, you can also get this as a digital download on my Etsy store, soulsorcerer.etsy.com. But you can also get them here from me. And when you buy it directly from me, I put this little sticker on the outside that says autograph copy, and I write special notes channeled just for you inside. And so I've got some with no notes yet because they're for you. I need you to buy them. I'm writing it for you. That makes it more valuable when it gets to Antiques Roadshow. Dating myself there too. So, what? Yes.
I'd like to just add one thing too, and I think it's your concept very well, but on the opening, you might want to emphasize when you're going into Akashic Records and you do the opening prayer to it, and there are different ones. Because some of us have been here in physical many times, and some not as much. But when you do the opening prayer, you've got all your spirit guides. You know, all of us have one new spirit guide from birth to death. So we have a bunch in the middle helping us whatever part of life we're in, and they're all there lined up. So once you do that opening prayer, you're giving them permission that you are open. And it's funny when you do that because all the outside noise just kind of dissipates, right? That's where you hear all these different things. So the opening prayer is really important. And then the closing prayer is important too, because now your portal's open and they're just going to follow you around and bug you all day. So you want to do the closing one to say, I heard you, I received you, because it will percolate. You'll start remembering it. It's almost like Reiki. It's better as the days go on. But I just think the importance of opening up the Akashic Records is most important.
And by that method, she's talking about the prayer method. In my prayer, you're evoking the Akashic beings of light, which are the guides that I use in the Akashic Records. You're evoking the great creatress, which is what the Akashic beings of light call the divine feminine. You're evoking your personal masters, teachers, and loved ones. So I'm glad you brought that up. And so masters are beings. They want us to stay on time, so I'm trying to be respectful. Oh, good, we got 10 more minutes. So masters. The masters are the beings of light that come to your side when the divine creates you as a point of consciousness, the point of light, and from there into a soul. And these masters come to your side and they are with you, whether you're in an earth life, whether you're studying with the XYZ guides up here in some other planet, if you're in between lives and you're just working out with your soul buddies and growing and learning and getting ready for the next round, you know, they're with you no matter what. And they love you. They love everything about you. They are the kindest, nicest, the best demonstration of unconditional love I've ever met. Teachers are lesson specific. So if I need a teacher about love or money or time or guilt or, you know, getting over the shortage consciousness of my family, you know, I'll have a teacher about that. And some teachers are, you know, big names, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, you know, Kuan Yin, whatever. Some are just like nameless beings here to help, here to provide some wisdom, help you grow. Loved ones are people you have known in this lifetime, but who are now dead. And that means if you're interested in being a medium, you can learn how to talk to dead people that are your relatives or your friends that have died. Now, not all those dead people want to have their records open. Believe me, I've had a couple growl at me, and it's like, oh, great. This is why you don't open the records of dead people, because they're not here to give permission. The person whose records are being opened has to give their permission. However, you can't open the records of real estate. That's where mine acts. I've been around construction, building, my father built a house we grew up in a summer place on river, and married a general, and then I married an electrical contractor, and now I'm married to a retired, woodworker, etc. So I've been around buildings a lot, and you can open the records of any place that's for sale, rent, lease on the open market. Same thing with cars, boats, motorcycles, apartments, if you're looking to rent an apartment, or condos like that. And it's very good to go into the records and find out what is the energy of this building. Sometimes I'll get like the energy of the people who built it. And if they were having a conflict, or there was between how the money was flowing, and there was issues, that can be in the energy of that building. I also get the energy of the earth before there was a human, especially white man-made building on it. And so any address has an Akashic record. And it's so handy to be able to get information about these places. Do you want to move in? Do you not want to move in? Is this going to support your artistic side? Because that's what you want to grow. No. Let's try that place. Maybe it's a better fit, You can open the records of crystals, and they're like, they will talk to you. You might as well. It's another way of getting information that might not be at surface level for us humans, and I think it's just handy, and I have people buy places, they're like, open the records of this place, give me a report, blah, blah. That's great. And the records of our summer place in Napa, and it was like, oh my God, I was a member of the Indian tribe that moved through here every season and washed the acorns in this river, well, it was a creek at that time, and and we camped around here, and then we would move on following the food supply, et cetera, et cetera. So past lives, easy peasy. Ancestral information. Okay, which one of you ancestors started the, shortage concept? And why? Why was that helpful? How did it help this group of people survive, get along, not get stomped on or trashed or overtaken or something like that? There's always a reason. And then why was it handed down, and the next generation went, well, we've got to do the same thing. We've got to buy into the same belief, right? It's just, my grandmother cut off the top of the ham, but why? Well, back then, the oven was smaller, it didn't fit in the oven. That's why, it wasn't like because it was nutritionally useful, it's just practical. Anyway, so finding out about that and accessing the ancestral information that I need too. Because I've done a lot of readings where people feel like they're like almost like a horse being pulled back on the reins. Don't go there, don't go there. It's a cliff. You're endangering yourself and the whole bunch of us. And so it's sort of like that person would have to go, okay, face me, come up here. Listen, you all appointed me as the front runner, as the trailblazer. You wanted me to be the one to make the changes and stop cycles that don't really enhance our lives. So I'm doing that. You're going to give me permission and get in line and go with me or not? You're not? Move aside, And then they get on with their lives. and that feeling inhibited is gone. So I think I have to wrap it up because I think that's the next speaker coming in. Any other last minute questions? Yes.
You said you could open the Akashic Records to crystals. Can you open it up for other spiritual tools, like say pendulums or tarot cards or things like that?
I'm sure you could. I've never tried it on those. I'm shaking hands, so pendulums need to get long. Yeah. So that's, I can get a yes or a no, like right now. So, whatever. But I'm sure you can, The thing about the records too is the key to information in the records is questions. What's the truth about me and butter? I like to eat butter straight, So, like, what is this thing? So, and then I immediately get a past life where I was an orphan child and I'm walking around the villages with this white cow with black spots on it, and she gave me milk. She kept me warm at night. We survived together, and we were like bonded. But like all from the question about what's the truth about me and butter. I mean, it was a very explicit past life story, which really surprised me. Was not expecting that. Yeah, pendulums. Well, pendulums are usually made of crystal too, right?
Yeah.
Or they could be anything, but yeah. So yeah. Any other questions? Look at me. I'm doing readings out here. For those of you who came to the talk, you get $20 off your readings. I do Akashic Records reading 30 minutes for $75 out there. We'll do the whole things and you'll be able to see how the prayer changes your consciousness. All right? Thank you.